Hey, what's up, y'all? In this day in the life of a clinical psychologist, I'm going to be breaking down my schedule in terms of how I wear multiple hats. And how this applies to you is that sometimes as an entrepreneur, we refuse to delegate, we refuse to get things off our plate. And the problem is we really can't operate in our genius zone. If you feel like your cup is always half full, if not empty, but you are shifting from thing to thing throughout the day, then tune in and let's talk about it. Hey, grateful day, y'all. So I am going to walk you through my schedule specifically today, just so that I know I'm not alone. I'm going to showcase how I shift from role to role. I'm also going to evaluate, should I have delegated that off to someone else, and truly how long it for real took me in terms of to finish the actual project or meeting, for example, because sometimes we base our time based on how much we think we make per hour, but in reality, a 1 hour project will take 5 hours. So with that said, today is Thursday, and the reason why Thursdays are a lot different than my other days is me and my husband literally have split duties. So let's start off in the morning. My alarm clock goes off at around 6. If it's a good morning, I will go to the gym as soon as I wake up around 6:15, 6:20. I worked out this morning for about an hour, and that is my sacred time. That is my time to be at peace, to have as many spiritual downloads as God wants me to have, and I really gain clarity around questions that I might have in my personal life and in my business and, all kind of things. So it was a really good gym session today. Then while I was on the treadmill finishing my sprints, I had my husband have my youngest son call me via FaceTime to, so I can tell him to have a good day at school. So me and my husband have had a routine for now going on 2 years, probably even more than that, because I am more of a morning person. He's more of a night owl, especially when it comes down to work. And so he typically will get my son dressed in the morning and, give him his breakfast. Depending on if I don't start my day until like 11, 12 o'clock, meaning I don't have no coaching calls, then I might do a little bit of the breakfast and then leave. But for the most part, I try to do hands off because I find that I just be doing stuff to do it. You know what I'm talking about? And I just be staying busy for no reason, knowing doggone well I should have went to the gym 15 minutes ago. So my husband got my son dressed for school and he called me on the treadmill. And then when I got home, I decided to do, when I walk to and from the gym, because I go in my community, I do what's called a walk and talk thought prayer. And so this is where I'm able to state my gratitudes. I'm able to have a conversation with God, literally out loud. I do talk out my stuff now in ChatGPT. I used to do it in my voice recorder just so I can go back and maybe take note on anything I said. But I found that it's just more efficient of my time if I can record myself and give myself a summary and a action plan, because typically my gratitude turned into a conversation with God, actually turns into then a brain dump that then turns into any downloads that he wants to give me in the moment. Also, I may send an like a voice note to my team through Slack, either to or from the gym or both, especially around things that I've gotten clarity on, because you should know that God isn't required to repeat himself. And I find that if I expect myself to remember what I thought about an hour as soon as I woke up on my way to the gym after the workout, I'm not going to do it because of the hats that I will switch over to. So when I got home, I talked to my husband a little bit, and then I had my post-morning shake. And then after that, I went upstairs and I got prepared for my coaching call. So I got dressed and all the things, makeup or whatever. That morning routine takes no more than 40 minutes. I'm not a big glam person in terms of it takes me 30 minutes to put on makeup. Not that person. But I look nice, And so got dressed and then went downstairs, and I decided to take it up a notch with our coaching clients. And now we're going to get into the delegation part. I took it up a notch and I decided to use the notes that I had created for our coaching call into PowerPoint slides. Now, something that I could have done is I could have gave my team my preparation notes, ideally 2 days before the coaching call, because I don't like to rush people, but I do have deadlines. And I could have had my team copy and paste the notes. And so I've done this now about 3 times. Typically, my mindset is if I do it once, I need to make a system for it. If I do it again twice, shame on me. If I do it 3 times, I need to slap myself. So figuratively, So I realized today that I need to carve out time to have my prayer time and things, but to ask specific questions around how can I deliver this message as best as possible to my coaching clients. That way I can curate the summary earlier, like the week before, for example, the week of, because today was Thursday. I could have did this on a Monday, and she could have typed up everything, which is like really copy and paste from my notes from a Google Doc, so it ain't that hard. She can do that probably in less than 30 minutes, and then she can just have me double check over it or not, because I've double checked my Google Doc. It's literally copy and paste bullets, and so I could have delegated that. So that took me about 30 minutes, but I didn't have to do that. So had the coaching call with my clients for an hour and 5 minutes. The clients that we met with on Thursday is the Dope Therapist Academy Manifest a Profitable Private Practice coaching program. So we are recently coming off of an enrollment period, and this go round we did, I believe, 5 live coaching sessions that are dripped out across like 8 weeks. And so in the beginning they are back to back, but I don't repeat things that are in the portal. I'm more so giving them actionable items to do to reinforce why they need to go to the portal. And that's just my way of teaching. So did that call, was a little bit late because I did want to answer someone's question before we wrapped up, and we did talk about like marketing, and it was a really good conversation. Then I hopped over to another Zoom, no break in between. And this meeting lasted about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Let me see, it started at 11. I got there at 11:07. It ended around 12:15ish. So about an hour and 15 minutes. And this meeting was for me collaborating to push out traffic to a live event for therapists, social workers, and healers, and also the general public. That'll be happening in Washington, D.C. in October of this year. So we had the marketing collab meeting, and I got clarity on how I could promote this to like my audience and all the things, because therapists have been asking for like some type of mental health summit in person kind of thing that is not always just business. I just think it's good for us to be in a room together. So I told my community about the meeting I was about to have before I hopped on a call, but I told them I'll be releasing information next week about more details, etc. So if you want more information about that, just make sure that either you check the description box, or I always have up-to-date links, especially on Instagram or at the top of my YouTube channel of whatever's happening, if tickets are still on sale. They do have an early bird special for this particular event, but again, I will give more details when I upload another video, because I don't want to prematurely give y'all information when I'm not supposed to. Okay, so after that meeting, in between that meeting, I switched over from the desktop to my headphones to my cell phone, and I walked and got my son. So earlier I had said that Thursdays are very different. So our regular routine is the whole, my husband takes my son to school. I typically pick him up almost every day out of the week, but on Thursdays we get our eldest. Our eldest, even though it's summertime, our kids have totally different school schedules, 7 years apart, high school and second grade, or starting high school and second grade at this point. So my husband drives 40 plus miles to get our eldest son, and our youngest son has a minimum day every Thursday. So we have to be very meticulous with what we choose to plug into our calendar. I chose that to be at 11 o'clock today because I knew that I didn't want to give up my morning hour, because we could have met at 8 o'clock my time, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But I knew that would be pushing it, because I do get clarity when I go to the gym. So I don't like to give up that time, even if I'm walking on a treadmill or outside. So choices. So in the middle of the meeting, I put on my headphones and I got on Zoom, and I walked over across the street to get my son from school, and walked home and, just set him up in the background and continued to have the call, because it was more of listening, and then I asked all my questions at the end kind of thing. So all that wrapped up at 12:15. And then after that, my husband came home because he was getting prepared to go get the eldest son. So, he took the youngest son with him, and I said, this was my intent. I said, oh, cool. I'll have time to record some video like this, but like in my office. I'll have time to maybe even record the newsletter that I may want to drop via video for Monday, or maybe I'll go live. I'm not sure. So I said, I'm gonna go with my zone, but I do want to reserve the evening to do my money date. Well, talk about hat switching, right? Life starts life, and let me know if any of this sounds familiar. So I ate my lunch with my husband and my son, and then they left. So I said, let me go downstairs and hop on the laptop. So I did my money date first. Basically, a money date is looking at all of your expenses, personal and business. For me, money date really is about my business, and then I do personal separate. So I chose to switch up where my money date numbers are, just so that it's in a place that I go to frequently. And I moved it over from, for example, Google Sheets to Notion, right? Because Notion is, for me, more of a personal thing. So moved it over there. And then, I got more organized in terms of like how things look, because I have 2 different businesses. So a money date is I log into every account. I see what money is there. I'll also look at pending money, like checks that I'm supposed to be expecting. And it's something about, for me personally, that when I see money coming in and I also see pending money, like pending meaning it's available right now to transfer into your bank account versus it's available. Like if you use Stanstore, for example, it'll say pending and then available. Stripe, it'll say on the way to the bank account or in your bank or on its way kind of thing. It has like different levels. And so I like to look at it all, but I also like to categorize it so that I can, know how much cash flow I have right now. But I also want to get a grip on how much money is coming in, because sometimes during certain periods of the month and during certain times of the year, I intentionally choose to work less. When I work less, more than when I've already cut my schedule less this year, cash flow takes a dip. When coaching program payment plans are over, cash flow takes a dip. So I need to be very mindful of what I should and should not be doing, or where we need to increase revenue during certain times of the year. And I would encourage you to do that and not wait until that time of year. Like we knew in December when certain revenues were going to, like streams of income, were going to drop. And those are typically related to our bigger coaching programs, specifically when we choose to launch. And summertime is usually a time where I slow down, and I'm okay with that. So I did my money date. And then as I'm doing my money date, of course, you just see other stuff come up and you just like, oh my gosh. So, I'm being positive. I do the whole thing like, let me pay this bill. The money that's going out is coming back tenfold, kind of thing. But it's just like, when you look, you find. But that's not a bad habit to have, especially when it comes down to your finances, especially for your business. So could that have been a thing that my bookkeeper or tax person could do? I mean, they have their job, but it's also my job as a CEO to understand where my money is. Like, I don't need to be talking to my bookkeeper or money person every single day unless that's how your business is set up. That's a monthly meeting for me unless it's a special time of the year. And so I would rather them help me focus on my profit and loss after I've done my part, my activity, my sales. My sales quota isn't directly correlated with what they tell me. It's based off how I show up. And so with all that said, the money day was supposed to be about 30 minutes, okay? The money day ended up being, no lie, about 2 hours. Yeah, about 2 hours, okay? Within the money date, I had to call my personal bank and get something straightened out with something that had happened with one of my sub savings accounts. So that was a phone call in which I had to wait for them to call me back. So some of these things you don't anticipate, but all of this stuff extends your time. Another thing that I end up having to do in the moment is, so listen, full transparency. So I got AAA. I used to work there in college, and I've had AAA for a very long time, like over 20 years. And I rarely, probably 5 times in 20 years, have needed roadside assistance, right? And so I decided this year, I just simply didn't renew it. Now, what I forgot, and please learn from this, because you need to know what's connected to what, okay? So I realized today, after they have been sending me numerous of requests to like, save this amount of money and it'll cost this much, etc. And I'm like, I don't care, I ain't using this shit. And so I forgot that my renter's insurance is connected to my AAA. So they didn't say that in none of their damn letters, right? Because if they would have said that, your girl would have hopped on it. So what I end up doing, the lady had called and she said, hey, I see that you didn't renew. And I'm like, I didn't. And so she was like, I don't know if you know that your renter's insurance, literally the whole policy, is connected to your AAA. And I'm just thinking like, at first I just thought I had AAA for a discount. So if she would have said just pay an extra $20 for your renter insurance, I probably would have never turned back on the AAA. But then she proceeds to tell me that I don't have renter's insurance if I don't have the AAA. I said, oh my gosh. And so it's like, and I get it, because my clients have told us this in so many words, if they choose to be vulnerable with us, like, you think you getting ahead, you're doing your money day, being all fancy and stuff, and then another bill hit. Then another bill hit. And it is usually the bills that you don't know that's gonna hit because you didn't truly understand the billing cycle and what was included. Those things just kind of like, I don't know, take your vibe or something. And so I paid the like $45. I was like, $55. I'm like, let me just pay this lady $55. She was like, instead of being $55 and $77. Now, from a sales perspective, I was just thinking the only reason you're saying $55 is because it was supposed to be renewed in February, which means you're prorating it. But I'm gonna let her have her shine, right? So I'm like, let me just pay this $55. So I did that, and then I set up some things that needed to be auto bill pay. So again, this is why the 30 minutes turned into 2 hours. But also on the flip, clearly bonus side is I'm paying attention to my finances, right? And so I did all of that. And then we were scheduled to send out a newsletter, but we didn't do it this morning. We were going to wait to do stuff next week because of all these things we have coming up. But after I did all that, I just need to do something that's fun. And I love marketing. I love talking to my audience. I love hyping y'all up. I love sharing with y'all what's possible. And people have been eaten alive, like online, these posts that I've been putting up around possibilities with streams of income, and really coming from more of a case study perspective and me answering their questions, especially on TikTok and on Instagram. Mainly on TikTok, people ask the questions, and then I just post it on Instagram and sometimes on YouTube on shorts. And so I decided to, first I was creating a social media post, and then I was like, you know what? I really want to make this like an email thing. And then as I like, the way my brain works, as I was doing it, I'm like, it gotta be juicier, right? So I'm like, a lot of people don't know about the brag resume. Check that out in the description box, shameless plug. But this is where you can take 5% of your resume because you're sitting on a gold mine of clinical expertise. Because sometimes like dating, you meet people and you meet them and y'all talk, and then you get to know each other kind of like out of order. And what tends to happen is you don't look at that person as a full picture maybe until months, years later, right? And that's only if you take the time out to like conceptualize their life. And conceptualization meaning therapist, right? So I look at everything as a case study. And what I realized when I was doing this workshop in Atlanta earlier this year, because this was my topic, is how to turn your 5% of your resume into streams of income. I kid y'all not. And let me know if you were this person, because they didn't say their names. But people were walking up to me at the end of this social workers conference in Atlanta saying, I mapped out my whole launch. I mapped out my stream of income. Y'all, I only talked for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I was like, damn. And so I'm like, let me convert this into some type of freebie where I can walk you step by step of how to review your resume, and then give you an AI tool, like a template, so that it can pull from your resume and actually show you how much expertise you are sitting on. And you're sitting here in idea paralysis, when in reality you have the idea that is in support of all the clinical expertise you have, probably because you've been doing the same type of work in different work agencies, but you don't connect the two because you're like, well, I left that job. I ain't like that job. I'm glad I left here. And you're not realizing the stuff that you learned at those places, even though you left. So if you want the brag resume, make sure you click the link. Nevertheless, I realized that most of the time I am sending people to my bundle. And I pay attention to analytics. And I noticed that when people go see the bundle, either my messaging is unclear, which can be a possibility. So you got to evaluate your marketing. But also, I know that people do buy it. More people are going to look at it versus less people that's going to buy it. So I thought to myself, I want to build a relationship with people who don't know me, because that's what I've been doing with these day in a life psychologist, like little short videos. And so what if I gave people a chance to come into my world and my ecosystem by me first, or more so, front loading the brag resume, because most people don't even understand their gifts, right? So that led to me building out a whole funnel. Not just one, not just two, but like 5. Now, granted, 3 out of the 5 was clonable. But what I did is I said, okay, let me go into my email marketing system. Before I send out this email, I want to make it clear that, at least for social media right now, that I have this free guide. So I double dipped with my 1.5 hours before I am at where I'm at. And I'll tell you, is I built out the email list, and I gave people tips around diversifying their income. And then I also told them that there's an update to the Profitable Streams of Income bundle. And you can check that out too at the top of my YouTube channel or at the bottom of this video. And what I did is I added like the launch execution guide, because not everybody's ready for a course, and some people just may need to honestly invest in themselves to be exposed to what they need, and then they'll go out and get the help, like the mentorship or whatnot. I get that, right? So I wanted to make people aware that, you know, I have this free opt-in, but I also have these other items that some people don't even realize what we have until we say it over and over again. So I built out that email newsletter, and then I also built out the funnels for social media. Then I took it up a notch, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just give the brag resume to everybody. I don't usually do this, but I have been doing it from time to time on the weekends when I don't want to be online, is I boosted a post. So what I did is I went into, and again, this could be delegated, but in terms of the marketer tag, I'm it, right? And I'm okay with that because I actually love marketing. It's part of my genius zone in terms of being a CEO. So with that said, I did a whole lot in an hour and a half, but most people will take like 10 hours to do what I did in that 90 minutes. And it's primarily because I've had a lot of practice. I have been marketing for over a decade and a half, at least on the business side, but I've been marketing way longer, just working at jobs and doing certain things there. And so after I was done with that, my husband and kids came home. I told them I was going to go to Hobby Lobby, and I was also going to go to In-N-Out because I don't feel like cooking. And they were like, all right. So right now they're at home. I drove to Hobby Lobby and I decided, you know, pick up the camera and press record. That's what I've been telling myself. Even if I don't use footage, just press record. So with that said, that's how I shifted throughout the day, from health, self-care, talks with Jesus, to preparing for a coaching call, kind of like an admin, to delivering the coaching call, to mom zone, to collaborator branding deals, to break time, lunch, cook, maid, not a maid today, but you know I'm getting at. And then went into CEO mode, and then did some admin work, some marketing work, some ads work, some funnel building, some email marketing. You get me? Can you count the numbers of hats that I am wearing? Is anybody keeping up? Because I'm not, okay? And so I'm landed on today. I like to get outside the house, and it is therapeutic for me to get out because I am at home a lot. So what people get all mixed up about is they see all of these videos where I'm traveling. Now, granted, I was gone like for 18 days, okay? Like traveling out of like 24 or something like that. So please note, when I'm gone, your girl captures hella footage, right? And I will milk that footage until I go on my next vacation. And even if I go to the same destination, like we went to Disney Alani, you will probably see me posting from like the last trip, especially with my hair. I didn't have my hair like this for Disney Alani 2 times. So you don't even know if it's this trip or not. But nevertheless, I'm just telling you, I create content intentionally and on purpose so that when I don't want to be on camera, I can do voiceovers. And that's one thing that I've been telling my community. You don't have to be on camera talking. I enjoy talking to y'all. Like, you are my best friend, like sitting right here, right? But from time to time, especially if I'm like in public or whatnot, I just will pick up the camera and press record, and then I'll do a voiceover later. So it is what it is. So if you want to hang on, I am going to show y'all what I see in Hobby Lobby. If not, go ahead and tap out right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like this video. Since you made it to the end of the official video, go ahead and like put some type of emoji, like either a hat, or if you want to go the extra mile, tell me how many hats you done wore today. Depending on what time you're watching this. If you're watching this in the morning, tell me how many hats you wore yesterday. I'm talking about cook, maid, doing the laundry, cleaning up, deep cleaner, you know, the nanny for the kids, the cooker, you know what I'm saying? Then the self caregiver, and then the therapist, and then you may do coaching, you may do digital products, you may be the dog walker. Listen, y'all wearing about 15 hats a day, but I'm very curious. When I see the number, I'll know that you got to this point in the video. So congratulations, you done made it to the end. But I'm gonna do a little uncut section, and I'm gonna see what I can find in Hobby Lobby, more so with infusing my mind with abundance. I really like home decor and just seeing what different Hobby Lobbies have. So I'm at a different Hobby Lobby than the one I went to last week. And I'm really trying to see if they have any like Disney home aesthetics before I order on Amazon. Cause if you don't know, you know, your girl loves the little mouse. All right, y'all, have a great day. Bye. All right, now here is a checkout area, but it has like cute little rugs down here too. I'm actually gonna go down the regular section so I can see all the holiday stuff, but these are plush blankets, 40% off as well. Then you have more yard decor. Oh my goodness. Look. If y'all know, y'all know. Look at her. She's so cute. So I probably will get these. So they got the girl, and then they also got Mickey up there. So let me grab him because they are 40% off as well. I can put these like on the entertainment center. So here's Mickey. In terms of how much they are, they're $29.99. Damn, $29. I don't know about this. I'm not thinking about this, y'all. $29 is $17.99. I don't know about this. I'm probably gonna put these back, but I'm gonna walk around and see. But look, they got scarecrows all the way up. And all of these are 40% off, even for your yard. Okay, so if you want little stuff, like to go on the TV stand and stuff, they have all these little cute things, little pilgrim and all. But here's my Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse friend. So I did get these. They are weighted. I got these for the front door since that's the theme we're going with. But they have the scarecrows. They have Snoopy. And then they have like all of these little mushrooms and little people and other holiday type things over here. Again, it depends on what your vibe is. If you like the little bird right here, you can do that. But as you can see, they have aisles and aisles full of wood. If you're a wood person, like this is 30 bucks, which means it's about $17. And then you have different types of wood or weaving things for your home. So if y'all are a home decor person, or at least you like to decorate during the holidays, let your girl know. Let me know that I'm not by myself. I'm not gonna go down all of these aisles, but as you can see, I'll just like kind of ride by them. It goes all the way down there, all the way down here, and then all the way, that's where I was in the beginning, okay? And this alone is about 10 aisles, but like maybe 4 aisles broken up into 3 parts. Oh, and they also have pillows right here. I wish they actually have Disney pillows on Amazon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get those. And then I am gonna walk down here to see if they have any Disney themed. See, I have these, I just threw these away. I don't see any Disney themed rugs, and so I'll keep the one that I have in my cart. But again, these are all like $6. So if you're a budget shopper and you're looking for ways to feel luxurious in your home, and cozy, but also you're operating off a budget, then again, come holla at your girl at Hobby Lobby. Now these people are still in my cart. I really don't know if I'm gonna pay no $15 for these little things. All right, y'all, so I hope y'all like my uncut walking around looking at the holiday decor. I'm about to go grab In and Out for the family, and then I'm out. And so again, I would love to have you back. Connect here if you want to see more lifestyle vlogs like this and more of travel. Make sure you follow the instructions in the description box. I do upload especially a lot of Disney travel and family travel also to our family travel channel, which is our magical capsule. So if that's something you're interested in, like what does it look like outside the office, then by all means go and check out that channel, and I will link it below. Have a great day.